For my final project, I was going to do animal cruelty, but then I decided why not do what was actually on my list of things I want to change for the world, and the first one was I want to see rhinos not being killed anymore by poachers, or at least make the numbers being killed insignificant. And the area's geography that this covers is cultural geography and political geography. Both of those are very heavy. In my paper, it's probably a 50-50 ratio of how the two affect this issue. Some of the sources that I've came up with, not all of them, but these are the ones that I've put in my APA citation so far, are Poaching Animals Explained, Understanding Values Determining the Demand for Rhino Horn in Vietnam, Green Violence, Rhino Poaching, and the War to Save Southern Africa's Peace Parks, and Fighting Wildlife Trade in Kenya. So the thesis to my paper is the illegal act of wildlife trade and poaching poses a huge threat to biodiversity conservation and endangered species, with the definition of poaching being the illegal hunting or capturing of wild animals. In my paper, I'm going to cover the history of poaching, where it occurs, why it's happening, and where things stand today, and I will try to cover each one of those points quickly in this 5-minute video. So poaching has been an issue for a long time, but numbers did start to get higher and reemerge in 2008, and this is when the rhino poaching crisis began. And the crisis started in Zimbabwe, where the numbers of rhinos being killed was 164 in 2008. And from Zimbabwe, those 164 rhinos were basically the easy targets. They were not in the peace parks. They were more in free land that they were able to capture and kill them easier. And after those rhinos were killed, they started going for other countries where there were more easy targets. And the first country that was hit the hardest after Zimbabwe was Kenya. These animals are being killed by poachers because the reward is very large on the black market. It's larger than the consequences, which a lot of ex-poachers or past poachers that have been interviewed said that it's that although countries like Kenya keep making the punishment bigger, that the reward is just too big, and so it's worth the risk. Rhinos in particular are being killed for their horn. The two reasons that the market is wanting this horn or purchasing it is either for their status and their country, to show their status, or for medical reasons. So their horn, just like in America when we wear diamonds or gold, or we have even just like a really expensive, nice dog that we walk around the neighborhood, those are showing that we have money. It shows the class that we are in. This is the same with rhino horns there. And these upper class people, when I say there, I'm actually really referring to Vietnam, since Vietnam is a huge buyer of this. They're not the only one, but this is a lot of research that I did. But anyways, they also give it as gifts, just as people here in the upper class might give really expensive gifts. They will give a rhino horn as a gift. And for medical use, in old Chinese texts, it says that the rhino horn is one of the big ingredients in making medicine there, and it can cure anything from cancer to the common cold or even a hangover. A hangover is actually a big reason that it is used, sadly. But it is believed that this works. There is a lot of speculation from people that have used it, that have believed it in a long time, that were interviewed, that basically say, like, I had kidney failure and it did nothing. It did not help. But we won't really get into that. But it is not 100% thing that is believed. But it's half believed and half not. So it is still very prevalent. And the numbers of poaching today and where it stands. So poaching did spike in 2015. That is when the numbers became the highest in this crisis, or at least for like in this time period. And numbers have been going down steadily. Like, it has not been up and down. It has been steadily going down. And in 2019, the numbers were around 812, maybe around 800 rhinos that were still being killed. And although numbers are going down, the problem is still, there's a spider. So the numbers are going down, but it is still a big issue because these rhinos are going extinct. One of the rhinos, the white rhino, has already went extinct, and so we can't afford even the number of 800 rhinos being killed. So yeah.